Oh, it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful song. But we're going to let it go. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to let it go because we aren't here for that. We are here for this. We are here for Elite Dangerous, as always on a Sunday. Good evening. How are you doing? I hope everybody's well. Now, we find ourselves in Columbus, which is where we want to be. Who doesn't want to be in Columbus? You can see me up in the top right corner. I'm wearing this lovely marble t-shirt. Some might call them pajamas. They would be right. But that's okay. That's not a problem. Now, today we're just going to have a little look around. The first thing we're going to do is just get out of dock and just have a look and see what we can see. It's a very special channel viewer's birthday today, so we're going to give him what he wants. So let's get out and do that for first. But the main thing that we're going to do today is we're going to look at the Odyssey trailer. Difficult to fly your ship at the same time as doing stuff. Who knew? So we're going to look at the Odyssey trailer. And I know you've all seen it. Everybody's seen it. Can barely hear. Oh, what? You can barely hear the... What can you barely hear, Spanx? Have you got something wrong with your ears? Let me just check. Who knew? It sounds loud to me, dude. It sounds loud. What's going on? Do you want me to turn up the volume a little bit? I can turn up the volume a little bit, if you would like me to. But you're not supposed to hear too much. Or was it just the music you couldn't hear? I'm sure that's what you were saying. I'm pretty certain that's what you were saying. I love this game on the PC, man. It looks so cool. It really does look pretty special. Now we're going to have to just zoom away from this guy for a minute. Just get away from the space station as best we can. Oh, I do have voice attack on. I can do all these things. Yeah, the music's gone now, Spanx, but that's alright. Not too worried about that. So let's just go and have a little look. Let's get on the sunny side up of Jupiter. And that's where we're going to leave ourselves, just sitting here looking at the lovely planet. That is purely for Mr. Go Faster's birthday. If we didn't see Jupiter on his birthday, he would have been extremely upset. So there you go. It's here. Happy birthday, Mr. Go Faster. I hope you had a lovely day. Now we are obviously in the Sol system. If we come all the way around, I'm thinking we just get in here and we just knack out a big old bad boy. Whoops! Oh, we went through it. Whoops! Okay, we didn't go through it that time. Whoops! There you go. You can't get more Jupiter than that. That is what you want. Don't get me wrong. They did really well with the assets within our own solar system. It's pretty cool. They've done a blooming good job. I always like, when you come into these asteroid fields, I always like getting in and amongst them without blowing up. Just to see what you can see. Alright. You choose death. Very well then. Hold on a minute. Whoa. Why on earth? Chaff. Why on earth is this dude attacking us, would you think? I mean, the police are going to kill him. I want to know what ship he's in. He's in an Asp Explorer as well. Do you know what? Oh well, we're in a Cobra Mark III, but switch weapons. Switch weapons. Combat mode. Target.
Attack, attack, attack.
You picked on the wrong dude. Impossible! It's not impossible, my friend. I am an elite pilot. Elite. Come back here and get killed. I'm sorry, my friend, but you are dead. You are as dead can be. And you gave me 29,000 credits. Thank you very much. John Anderton, you have been fined. Okay, so switch weapons. Wasn't expecting that. Switch weapons. Switch weapons. Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah, well, do you know what? I think the assets for Jupiter look alright, do they? They don't look that bad, do they? Right, we're going to have to take some of this stuff. So, what's the easiest way of doing this? Can we synthesize... Nope, there's no point. It ain't going to work. So, cargo scoop. Scoop. Thank you. Let's reset this. Let's just pick these things up. Just while we're here. No! Too fast. You move too fast. That was never going to work. I could see that. I can see that now. I want this. Too fast. What on earth is going on? The Cobra Mark III is a lot quicker on its feet than my other ships. So that's what's going on. Okay, let's just retract hard points. There we go. Alright, alright. Target. 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 Flippin' heck. This is what happens. You don't play the PC for a while and you suddenly lose the ability to play the PC. Very nice. I still... Well, I mean, you say they need to redo the asset spanks. Why do you think that? Target. 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 I want them. Chemical processors. Now remember, this is my new commander, so I don't have any, like, anything. I literally have no materials, no commodities, no anything. Target. Target. Let's grab it. Salvaged alloys. Come on. Thank you. Oh, I do miss playing this on the PC, you know. Target. Target. Phase alloys. We've got some phase alloys, but that's alright. We'll get some more. That guy, he was really banging on for me there, wasn't he? Oh, of course. I know why. I'll show you why in a second. Target. Spanks is always saying that we're always getting interdicted. I mean, he didn't interdict me. He just sort of turned up in the same place I was in and started attacking me, which is upsetting. Scoop. Scoop. To say the least. Right, now where's Jupiter? Let's have a look. Look, the big boys have just turned up. There they are. Federal Police! Coming in hot on a 349er. Well, I mean, maybe it looks a bit bland, but doesn't it look like Jupiter looks? I guess, I mean, I would be interested to see what they're going to do with... Now, this is bad. Let's not hit any asteroids. Alright, there you go. That's quite nice. That's a nice little vista. Alta Vista. Not so much. Nothing below me. Everybody's all right. Online, looking good. There you go. Jupiter. Jupiter, and he's not even here. What can you do? He's not even here. We're looking at Jupiter. That's ridiculous. Okay, so what we are actually going to do today is look at the Odyssey. I don't like going backwards in an asteroid field. That's not cool, is it? That's not cool. Yeah, I get what you mean, Spanx. It does look a bit bland, doesn't it? But I don't know. It still looks a lot better than a lot of other games have tried to sort of render in planets in our own solar system, and this doesn't look bad compared to those, I guess. If you, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's sort of, it doesn't look bad. Is what I'm saying. What you're saying is it does look bad, but you're saying it looks bland. Maybe. I do love it when you just touch the mouse. Do you play on a mouse on this, Spanx? On you can just hear all the little thrusters going off. It's freaking cool, man. Okay, well, if Commander Go Faster can't be here tonight, then that is very upsetting, I would suggest. But that's okay. I'm going to have a slurp of this, which I'm more than allowed to do, being the age that I am. So what we are actually going to do today is have a look at the trailer for Odyssey. It obviously came out a couple of days ago. It came out on Thursday. I've seen it once, and I've stayed away from looking at any of the sort of reaction videos or anything like that at all, because I wanted to do this and actually have my own real sort of reaction to it, without just massively jumping on a hype train and shooting off into the distance. I didn't want to do that. So let's get that on. Now, how am I going to do this? I think the easiest way of doing it is putting you back to that, switching. And we just have to make sure that nobody else turns up on Elite and kills me, because that would be very upsetting. And this is what we want. So I think I will get you back now. At least I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah, cool. So this is the trailer as from Frontier themselves, from their own YouTube channel, and you've got almost 300,000 views on this video of theirs, which I would suggest is quite a lot for one of their videos. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to click back into Elite, and I'm just gonna turn it off. I'm just going to turn it off because it's making too much goddamn noise. And in fact, I'm going to turn it off again, because that would be, you'd be able to hear that as well. There we are. Well, that's what we wanted. Don't do that. All these windows open, obviously. Okay, so let's have a look at the actual trailer. We'll play it through once, and we'll have a little look, and then we'll play it through, and we'll stop it and kind of look at it and see what's going on. Here we go. Now, hopefully you should be able to hear it. It's not going to be mega loud. If it's too quiet, just let me know. Linus. Why are you saying Linus, Spanx? You're a strange egg. A lovely egg.
Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and your helmet on. This is Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping through the door, and I'm floating in a most peculiar way.
Nice ship.
And the stars look very different today. For
Arriving early 2021. So there you go, guys. There you go. You've probably seen that before. It's a very, very short trailer. What I find interesting about it as well is that they got Space Oddity as some music. So they must have had to pay quite a bit of money to the estate of David Bowie for the use of that music. And I know already there's been quite a lot of talk about the release date and everything like that. I'm not too interested in talking about the release date. I don't really care about that. What I do care, I was expecting it to come out in January, but clearly that's not going to happen. But let's just start it again and have a look and see what we got. So straight away, in-game footage is the first thing I look at, and I'm like, okay, fair enough, I get you. This is in-game footage, and you can tell it is correct. How they've set the free camera up to make this work, I don't know. Maybe they obviously have some kind of dev tools to do it or whatever. But you can see where the star is in the distance, the way the lighting works, and the front of this planet, which looks like some kind of icy planet with an atmosphere. And it does, I've got to be honest, it doesn't look too different to a normal planet that we could land on that is icy at the minute. So yeah, you know, that's the first thing I pick up. But the other thing that I pick up is that it looks freaking amazing. I mean, you can't sit there and say it doesn't look good, because it does look good. That is a beautiful vista. They've done very well in picking what they've done, and you've even got that little blue nebula at the top as well. And I think, what ship was that we were in? I've just put it back to the beginning like an idiot. Look at me knowing how to use YouTube. Play it. What ship is that? Is it a Sidewinder? It's so... Oh, it's a Cobra Mark III. Okay, so it's a Cobra Mark III. Now, when you get into this section, again, it doesn't look too different from a normal planet. The colours are a little bit different, and the sort of blue hue on the atmosphere look pretty cool. But it still doesn't give you that, in my opinion, that correct sense of scale. So currently in the game, when you come down to land on a planet, there is something really off with the scaling of how long it takes you to get down onto the planetary surface and how much of the surface of the planet you can see. And if something in the back of my mind is saying, this doesn't feel right, this isn't correctly being represented, this isn't right. And still here, it doesn't look right, because that crater, that big crater there that we can see on the right, is going to be the size of, you know, it's friggin' big, but it's not that big really when you get down to it. So I'm interested to see. 2 ships. Captain Ply, that's a very good idea. 2 ships, 1 filming. That is how they do it. Excellent. Cyberden, how you doing, man? This is the next hype, my friend. This is happening. Yeah, I think you're right as well. The mountain ranges do look better. The whole thing looks better. Whilst you're all here, why don't we just play it again? Tom, good to see you, my friend, as well. Let's just play it through again. And let's just see. If you see anything that jumps out at you that we can talk about, shout it out and we can have a chat about it. I mean, it's a good trailer, isn't it? I mean, that's... We'll get to it.
Ground control to Major Tom.
I can play this on the ukulele, by the way, if anybody is interested.
Ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and put your helmet on. This is Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping through the door, and I'm floating in a most peculiar way, and the stars look very different today. For here am I sitting in a tin.
It's cool, man. I could watch this all day. I could do this all day. Okay, so anything that particular that pops out, recommend starting on PC or the console. For you, Richard, I would suggest starting on the PC, just because it's the best version of it at the minute, and it really is the best. Very Mass Effect from the bass scenes. So with the bass scenes, Spanks, let's get down to them. I felt this looked a little bit like, quite like Destiny. It had a feeling of Destiny, especially with Europa that's just come out. That there feels really sort of, you can just hear Varric sort of going, yeah, kill them, bah. You know, it's kind of interesting. But I mean, what can you do? I also get the vibe of, like the Aliens. You remember, obviously, back in 1986 when Aliens came out, the film, sequel to Alien, and it had this really very particularly stylized vision that James Cameron wanted to put across, and he did a fantastic job. Let's not beat around the bush. Let's not beleaguer the facts. It's a phenomenal film, and stylistically, it looks amazing. Maybe it doesn't capture the same sort of the same sort of kind of uniqueness that Geiger's sort of Alien style had back in the late 70s. It's a totally different kind of thing, but that also borrowed quite a lot from 2001 as well. So they're very different, but it felt much more sort of mechanical, and almost like agriculturally mechanical. It was just, I loved it to bits. I absolutely thought it's great. And with this here in Astor's Hope, I mean, that's cool. But this here, that scene with the eagle flying down over the top, shooting at another one, is, I mean, that's very reminiscent of the beginning of Frontier on the Amiga and the ST back in the day. So that's very sort of, there are quite a lot of homages, I think. But if you look at some of these buildings and the building types and how they look, it looks fairly sparse, which I don't mind. That's not a problem. But it does remind me of sort of like EDZ Europa on Destiny, Cosmodrome type thing. And I don't think that's a bad thing. It's just, look at this dude. You see this guy down here? Just crouched down, hiding by that data pole down in the bottom right. I've only just noticed him. He's just like sat down there. That's kind of cool. There's another guy down in the bottom corner. I wish you could see my mouse. Oh, maybe you can see my mouse. I don't know if you can. I'll know if you can when I start moving it. No, Rich, it's no point getting alpha or beta. What you're better off doing is quickly getting Elite Dangerous Horizons and getting used to playing it first. Then don't go too far. Just get your feet wet, and then when Odyssey comes out, delete your save and just start again. And so you haven't invested too much time, but you know what you're doing. So you haven't wasted huge amounts of time doing all these things, but when you come to start playing, you know what you're doing. I think it's going to be superb, and it does look very Firefly. Yeah, it does. You're right. Can we see the mouse? I don't think you can. Oh, you can see the mouse. Okay, I just spied it. So this little guy down here, he's sort of sitting there. There's another guy stood there that I just saw, and this little dude down here as well. You know, it's cool. This is so different from how you play Elite. There is none of this, and it's going to be the proof is always in the pudding. So if I'm just starting to play Cyberpunk at the minute. I know Richard is as well, and for me the combats first started off being really quite jerky, and I really didn't like it because I'm so used to playing Destiny 2, for example, where the gun mechanics and the way that the player moves, the whole game is centered around that, and it is the best you can get on any game whatsoever. It is exceptionally good. You know exactly what's happening. You know exactly where everything's going. You know when you change the gun, how it's going to affect. It is beyond good. It's fantastic. The Call of Duty games, because they're made by different developers, they kind of switch and they change and they come back and forwards. Borderlands was good, I suppose. Something like GTA, that had quite a clunky sort of combat mechanic, but it's totally different because it's third person. So if they get this right, and also, Tom, you mentioned Mass Effect. I've never really played the Mass Effect games. I've never been a fan of them, just because I never got into them. I never played them, and I just didn't do it. So I never played them. But I had one on the 360. Might have been Mass Effect 4. I don't know. And I played it a little bit, and I like the idea of the different storylines that you can take. I like the idea of gameplay. Odyssey's not going to have it, but I like the idea of gameplay changing on what you decide to do. But as a developer, you've got to be very careful, because you could make this wonderful level or scene that happens, and unless people choose a certain path to get to it, nobody's going to get to it. So all these assets that you might make, nobody ever sees, which is why I think Detroit Become Human didn't quite work, because it's difficult to rely on people to want to replay a game just to get different things happening when it is very, very similar to get through to that point. If you know what I mean, it's always tricky to try and do that. Anyway, that's what I think. The entire engine must have had an overhaul. I think it has. Yes, Ply, I think it is. It will be first person. I don't think they'll make it third person, but it looks to me, because this is in game, it looks to me that the textures are pretty good. If you look at the fidelity on this corner here, for example, I mean, that's pretty close up, which is when you want the textures to be looking good. I think if they get it right, it could be really good, because obviously the elephant in the room is Star Citizen, which we will talk about at some point, but it's a strange one, isn't it? Hold on, let's just see that. I want to just see that again. See that guy? This person is getting shot. Obviously, there's bullets flying, laser flying. I think it looks great, guys. I mean, I'm not one to toot the hype train, but I think it looks good. I'm not sure what's happening with this person here getting shot. Let's just watch it again and just see. They're doing some kind of weird, like, spaz out movement. I'm not sure what's going on. Look at this guy. He's just got carrying 2 suitcases. He's loving it. Here we go. That looks like there's a grenade that's just been dropped. Maybe that's a grenade. Did that happen? Let's have a look. Yes, it was a grenade. Look at that. So this person here, yeah, they're just sort of like janking around everywhere. Now, this also, for me, looks pretty good. The way that the fire texture works. That looks pretty good. Now, this blue part here, we're obviously looking at some shield element going on. So your spacesuit's going to have a shield. Now, I'm not sure what the deal. Let's just go back outside because it looks nicer, doesn't it? I'm not sure what the deal is going to be with the spacesuit, but I think that is going to be... I think they're looking at it such as your space suit is like your spaceship, and they're saying that you're able to play the game without ever getting in a spaceship, because there will be taxi services that aren't in the game at the minute that will take you from system to system if you want to. This is a totally different take on the game. The game is very, I wouldn't say it's linear, but it's pretty railed. You know, there are certain things you do. There's a definite progression. But this idea of the spacesuit that you can upgrade to have, I don't know whether it's you know, higher armor, you know, blah blah blah, higher health, but also if you can have higher O2 or life support and all that kind of thing, because that's really quite big in the game. I'm interested to see what they do with the spacesuit and how they. I'm also interested to see how they sort of gauge it with, you know, there is a collective of people within the game at the minute on either console or PC who have billions and billions and hundreds of billions of credits, which is a bit stupid, isn't it? Really, it's, you know, just because I don't have billions and billions of credits, but I'm just wondering how they're going to sort of redress that imbalance and sort of work out how they're going to do it. Really, I don't think it's the same as, you know, they're just going to smash everybody down, but it's going to be an interesting one to see what they do with it. Hey, Luca Jackass, how you doing, man? Mass Effect Andromeda, I think that was the one, actually, Spanks. Do you know what? I think it was. Predator shoulder gun, I'm liking it. Luca, how you doing, man? Bungie is just a lot. Yeah, Bungie have done well with Destiny 2, guys. They've really made Destiny 2 pretty damn good. I'm just going to put this back to the beginning. Let's just have another look through, because I can't stop watching it, to be honest. I love it. I will stop it when something happens. Now, like just that. Look at that. I mean, look at that. There is nothing in the game that looks anything like that at the minute. Nothing. No place whatsoever. Because there are no atmospheres in the game. So if you were on an ice planet, it would look pretty crappy. And to be fair, it's not really their fault. The terrain sort of texture simulation technology they've got is really quite good. But it all becomes very samey very, very quickly when you consider the sheer, you know, staggering amount of landable planetary bodies there are in the game. They are all pretty much going to look the same. Now this, again, this just looks like it's come straight out of Destiny 2. But if you look down here, look at the fidelity down here. On this little bit, if I could zoom in, I can, but I'm not that cool. It looks great. You know, that looks amazing. This sort of foreground stuff looks great. The whole thing looks great. And as this Cobra Mark III flies over, it looks pretty friggin' cool. And that blue atmospheric hue and that beautiful sun in the background that I only just captured there, that's just there. This is a great Vista. You know what I mean? That's pretty. That is Windows Vista. That's it. It's Windows Vista. That's the best I can do. And this one as well. Now this is back to sort of normal, but I'm not quite sure what they're showing us here. But you know, you can see the spacescape in the background. So this place doesn't have an atmosphere, and the star is pretty close. But again, there's nothing in the game that looks anything remotely like that at the minute. Admittedly, there are planets that look brown and beige. That's obviously a given. But this sort of effect and the way it's all... it's good. And this, I mean, look at the state of this. This is literally... You know, that episode of Star Trek when Kirk walks up the really tall building, and then that iconic area building, it's a rock. It's been used in so many different things. This looks beautiful. And I think this type of thing is going to be quite captivating for people playing the game. They've been playing this game for 1, 2, 5, for me, 6 years I've been playing this game. and it hasn't changed a great deal in a long time. Not with any sort of discernible, tangible effect. It's remained the same, and they've just added things to sort of bolster what's happening. But it's a great opportunity for them to make some really big changes, not just changes to the actual graphical tech in the game, but really big sort of like quality of life changes, so that making the missions board a little bit more dynamic, making the commodities market a little bit more interesting and user friendly and easier to use, galactic map as well, all that kind of stuff. And there was this whole idea of having a PDA and having the ability to have your own phone or tablet to be in game within an app, which would be friggin' amazing. That would be awesome. But it hasn't come, so we shall see. We shall see. Okay, now this does get my goat. I noticed this the other day, but this really does annoy me. You see those footprints? They really upset me, man. No, it's like Liam Gallagher walking down the road like his feet flayed out like a penguin. You shouldn't walk like that. You should walk with your feet forward. It really annoyed me, and it's annoyed me again. And look, he's got his feet splayed out like some kind of turkey. Although that looks pretty cool, doesn't it? So you kind of forgive him. It kind of looks like Jupiter, doesn't it? You think? It looks a little bit like Jupiter, I'm telling you. Hey, it's not too far off Jupiter. He could be on Io. That could be Jupiter. I'm not saying it. I'm just spraying it. And then that little eagle comes flying through, which is just cool AF. That's cool though. When you can see your dudes out and about, and these two guys actually look like the same asset. And I'm not trying to be funny here. I'm just saying they're wearing the same gear. I think it's the same asset totally. This one, not sure. But look at the size of that gun. That is bonkers. Or is it a gun? Well, maybe it's a gun. And then this guy's here. And then we're looking at these ships. That's an Asp Explorer there. I think that's the back of an Asp as well. And this, that could be an Asp or maybe a Viper. But it's pretty cool to see everybody out here. And then the SRV here as well. Oh, dude, the feet, man. Why would you splay your feet out? It's like in Britain, it's like a thing where people walk with their feet like that, and it's like, all right, mate, yeah, right, I'm walking down the street, innit? Yeah, right, I'm walking down the street like that. And you're like, oh, God, please. That looks cool. Head torch. Everybody loves a head torch. Look at the state of these nebula up here and the lighting in general. The beautiful nebula up here and up here. This massive sort of nebula catching light from somewhere else. And then this, that looks cool, man. But it looks cool, and it will be cool as long as there is something to do. You know what I mean? And I'm not suggesting hordes of Starship Troopers like insectoids coming to attack you or something similar. But there has to be a point other than whimsical fancy to go out walking in the middle of the night like this dude here having a look around. There's got to be something a bit more about it, which hopefully there will be. Now we have the old SRV racing. That picture looks friggin' cool. Now I'm looking at it. Oh, I went too far. That looks friggin' cool. Look at that. So this is in system somewhere. You've got the main star at the top, another planet over there. You're on a planet. I mean, this looks like something out of a movie, doesn't it? This looks awesome. Richard Ashcroft walking down Hoxton Market. Yes, that is exactly it, mate. Exactly it. Banging into people as he's doing it. I mean, he was doing that on purpose for the video, but you're absolutely right. can't stand it. What I can stand is this. I can also handstand and cartwheel, but maybe not anymore. Probably can. Not ruling it out. But look at that. So we've got the racing SRVs. Now, bringing on to the SRVs, that does lead me to the planetary vehicle hangar that we have, which isn't a planetary vehicle hangar. It's an SRV hangar, because there's only one planetary vehicle in the game at all. Ever has been. And it's one of these stupid, mega uncontrollable, stupid scarabs. So I'm hoping come the new game, whenever it's released, which we'll get to, hopefully they'll be able to put in some more planetary vehicles. Just give us a bit of choice, something interesting, a little bit more. Please. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hey, Rich, good to see you, man. Take it easy, bro. Now, this is cool as well. So these types of installation, we see these quite a lot anyway in the game. In an SRV, you can sort of drive around. Maybe not with as many sort of places as you can go and have a look at. But again, these look very, very much like something out of Apex Legends or something out of Destiny. Destiny's the one I keep coming back to because it's really looking like it. That's beautiful. I mean, whatever you say about anything, this to me screams Star Wars. It just, this has a massive Star Wars sort of feel to it. The way that this ship is taking off, and that's an Anaconda. If it looks like an Anaconda, but to look at how big it is, I mean, you would have to suggest that this post here is like a massive football stadium type of floodlight, and these here are like normal sort of lampposts, if you like. If you look at how big these buildings are, when I looked at that first, I just thought, oh, there's just like a couple of, someone's left a load of bags on the floor. Do you know what I mean? It's like someone's left all their luggage on the floor. But if you look into it, these are actual buildings. This is buildings, and this is a frigging massive ship. That's cool. I mean, how is that not cool? That's one of the coolest things you'll ever see in your life. And I love that as well. I really do like the way that these places are going to be. Now, hopefully they're going to sort out some, you know, social spaces. They'll have it so that, you know, obviously there's going to be some kind of weaponsmith, there's going to be some kind of armor smith, there's going to be some kind of, maybe you can actually meet the material traders in person. I think there's a real opportunity for them with the game to open up quite a lot of the interaction with the missions that you do. So instead of just going to a technology broker in a space station and going, well, I've got 10 of these, I want 2 of those, you might be able to, you know, circumnavigate that and do a mission in order to get something for the broker. So he gives you these, you know, just something that makes you feel a little bit more immersed in what you're doing, rather than just spamming the mission board, finding a place to go, relogging, trying to find more missions for the same place, because it's all about efficiency of making credits. I don't want to play a game, which is why I haven't played Elite, like an efficiency machine to make credits. If I wanted to do that, I would go and get a job, which I do. I don't want to then spend my time playing games as a job in which there is no financial reward whatsoever. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever, and I refuse to do it. So I'm much more happier about, you know, more intricate, interesting things to do, rather than just what is the new meta way of making 50 million credits an hour. I don't want to do that. Why would you spend your time doing it? It's a waste of time. It's just, anyway, that's how I feel about it. Look at this little dude sat there, maybe standing. He's allowed to stand. He can do whatever he wants.
This is Major Tom to ground control.
Ooh, this now, that looks very Destiny to me. I hope they get the combat right, man. And I wonder if they're going to have some kind of, like they have CQC for the ships. I wonder if they're going to have some kind of hollow battle arena place where they can have, you can have team-based or solo-based PvP within the FPS version of Elite when it finally gets here. That would kind of be cool, I think. I'm not sure. I think it might be cool. And if you don't want to do it, you don't do it. That's just the way it is. But I love all this stuff. Like you've got this person here underneath the ship, and this idea of something happening, and you've got to run back to your ship, aka Han Solo, Leia, and Luke, etc., and the droids. That is engaging to me. That's interesting. I'm not suggesting this is what's going on here. I'm just saying if it did, that's cool. That is pretty cool. That's beautiful. There are a couple of things that are beautiful about this particular sequence. One is the reflection of the ice from the star, which must be up here somewhere. Two is just how nice it all looks. This all looks very, very nice. And three is this ship, the Imperial Clipper, is just a beautiful piece of work. And when usually you say piece of work, it's not a good thing. This is a good piece of work. It's a beautiful piece of work. Oh my god, it's good. And that looks friggin' awesome. I don't think that looks any different to how ultra graphic outside of a space station looks now. I'm pretty certain the lighting's all the same. I wish they would do a bit more with these adverts and have some more sort of relevant content, maybe Galnet stuff, because the outside of these space stations are not areas that you convene in any way. And I remember way back when I played Freelancer, you would convene at the outside these space stations because you couldn't all go inside because it would fill up, and you would all convene outside in the same instance, and it was cool. It was absolutely friggin' cool. But there was more assets around the space station, so there might have been a shipyard over here and something out. There were more things to sort of dock with and deal with, rather than in Elite you are in the instance of the space station. There's nothing else here. So if they could do a bit more with that, I would be happy. But if they don't, they don't. I mean, this looks pretty friggin' awesome, doesn't it? I mean, again, I don't think there's a huge difference to this looks like an asteroid base, actually. If you look at it carefully, this looks like an asteroid base. So you can see the inside of the asteroid here. The way that this holds the mail slot on, that looks kind of interesting. And then you've got this Cobra coming in. But this is what I was talking about with the social spaces. So again, I mean, I don't like to hark back to other games, but Freelancer was not a patch on Elite Dangerous, don't get me wrong, but it was a bloody great game. And it was rushed out, but hey, there you go. But it had these social spaces that you would go to further your career, talk to different people, get information, do various different things. And as long as there is meaningful interaction that can be held at these, there's no point having these places as these sort of nice to have. I can sit here and watch the spaceships come in. Within 1 minute, that is not going to hold your zeb on what you want to do. So as long as these places have something going on, I'm not suggesting having poker tables and stuff like that, but just something, whether it's lore, whether it's NPC based, whether it's player based, whether it's whatever, whether or not you can interact with other commanders as they land and you're able to see each other, or whatever, how much of the space station can you traverse around. And I think because I think they're going to limit the amount of area on orbital space stations that you can actually traverse around. and they're going to push the focus down to the planetary bases because they want to show off their tech. They want to show off the new stuff in the game. And I think the majority of the Odyssey content is going to be planetary based. I hope they don't just sack everything else off and just leave it all the same and don't give it too much love. But they must have been working on this for a long time now. So, you know, you got to hope for the best. I mean, it does look pretty cool. I mean, it does look pretty freaking cool, man. But this is the other elephant in the room, arriving early 2021. Now, I was under... There is another one, which is here. There is another one, which is circled here. These old gen consoles that people seemingly want to make games for. So the early 2021, I think... I was under the impression it was coming in January. Whether it does or not it's none of my business, I guess. But we were always told it would be the first quarter of 2021. Obviously, COVID, everything else. Probably not allowed to say that. I don't care. Schmovid. So you would expect maybe that to have been pushed back a little bit, possibly, depending on how they dealt with it. You know, it is an industry where you can pretty much easily circumnavigate that, you know, working from home or however else you might want to do it. So the first quarter is really what we want. Whether it comes out then is anyone's guess. But the main thing that's really disappointed me is this here. Well, the Epic Games thing is just a bit daft anyway. Did anybody actually manage to get their separate Epic Games running so you could have another commander? Not for me. And then it was such a hassle, I just deleted it and got rid of it. But this Xbox One and PS4, why are they not doing next gen with this? I just don't understand it. I just do not understand it. The PS5 version of Elite Dangerous as it is now, it obviously plays the PS4 version as a PS Pro, but also with the PS5's added sort of chutzpah and oomph. And it is absolutely frigging brilliant. Absolutely stunning. It's super quick. The galaxy map is like bang. It is really super good. And I'm mega impressed with it. I'm mega disappointed that they're not considering releasing and taking advantage of the next gen's hardware, the next gen's capabilities, and they're just not doing it. And it really gets my gripe, but not in a way that I'm like gonna start sending letter bombs, but you know, might urinate through the letter. But that's not gonna do that either. But it's just annoying that they don't think that it's worth doing, and I think it is. So let's watch through one more time. It's a coup to get the Bowie, man. It is a coup to get the Bowie. It looks beautiful. I hate that. The splayed feet walking. I hate it. I kind of like that. I think it's going to be great, man. It does. Oh, the Imperial Clipper, man. Oh man, the hype train is. I'm on, man. I'm driving the hype train. In fact, fucking ding ding, all aboard. Get on. No ticky, no laundry, as they say. I think it's going to be awesome, and I think Chris Roberts and his Ponzi scheme crew are all going to be thinking, And don't get me wrong, I signed up for that scheme. You know, I've buried, you know, hundreds of pounds into ships and stuff that every time I try and play it, suddenly my PC's graphics card is 5 generations too crap. So we'll see whatever happens with Star Citizen. But I think if Frontier can get this working, if they can get it doing what they want it to do, look at that. I mean, that's just a beaut, isn't it? I think they're going to have some pretty... They're going to have a good injection of longevity. And again, don't get me wrong, the player base of the game, even before it was given away for free, there was a good amount of people playing the game, in more than enough to warrant Frontier continuing to work on it. But I also think that David Braben wouldn't not carry it. This is, you know, obviously him and Ian Bell with the original, but this is his. He must be like David Attenborough, you know, when they found that new dinosaur. You know, he must be so excited about it and just so, you know, this is what I've been waiting for. You know, when I made Frontier on the Amiga, I expected this, and it kind of wasn't. Then obviously First Encounters got rushed through, and then that wasn't quite right. Okay, fine. I had a big old gap and did lots of other very important stuff, and then came back with the Kickstarter campaign. And even from the off, Elite Dangerous was still great. It was a great game, but the grind was real. But it's the same with any game, isn't it? You know, you can't really get away from it. It's part and parcel of what goes on. But I really do think that David Braben will be thinking, I'm almost not there yet. I'm nearly there, and I hope that we sell enough and we do enough. But look, they're in a not bad position. They doing all right. But you know, they need to have people playing the game, and the only way they're going to get people playing the game is to make the game more interesting and make the game more user friendly, and not so much user friendly, but accessible and interesting, and just more interesting. Really, it's got to be more interesting, because at the minute it's got into that grind. People are just playing it to try and make 50 million credits an hour, or however many, 100, 200, whatever they can do. And then when you have all that money and you have a fleet carrier, and then you're like, well, what else is there to do? There's nothing else to do. I've done that now. And it shouldn't be about that. It should be about the smaller stuff, and it should be about real relationships that you build up with people in factions, not just this corporation that suddenly says, because you sold a load of tea, suddenly now they're your best friend. It's just more immersion and more interest and interaction for you as the commander makes it will make the game so rich that, you know, I wouldn't play it all the time, but you want to have a reason to play it. And at the minute, there was a long period where I didn't play it for a year, because it was just the same old. It was the same. Nothing changed. It was just the same. And I really hope they don't miss a trick with Odyssey. They've obviously been working on it for a long time. Even from what we can see, it looks great. I'll play this one more time, and then I'll leave it, because otherwise I'll just keep talking and saying the same stuff forever. Who wants that? I do love it. It looks cracking.
Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom.
I'm super hyped for it. It's so funny. Frickin' hell. In my mid-40s, like the biggest kid.
This is Major Tom to ground control.
I mean, it looks pretty damn good, doesn't it? It looks pretty damn good, guys. But look, that was it. That was an hour stream, ladies and gentlemen. That's all we got. Join me next week. We'll be playing some more Elite Dangerous. We might jump in with the new commander, or we might be doing a long trip in the PS5. Maybe going to Colonia or something else. But anyway, have a lovely week. Have a lovely night. And I hope to see you again. Feel free to subscribe, share, like, comment, everything else. I always try and reply to all the comments, etc., etc. I'm very disappointed that the birthday boy didn't turn up for his birthday stream. But that's all right, you know. We all got to do what we all got to do. I might just put this on one more time because I love it to bits. But thank you very much. I've hit 500 subscribers as well over this weekend, which is huge for me. And I'm looking forward to the next 500. Let's put this on again, just because why not? And have a good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll catch you on the next one. But I'm just going to stay here watching this. What else are you going to do? Watch it. You are watching it. You're watching me watch it. That's why you're doing it.
Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and put your
That looks stunning.
This is Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping through the door.
Oh, God. I hope they don't mess it up. I really hope they don't mess it up.
The stars look very different today.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. See you later on the next one. Good night.